Hi, I'm Kogul Jose, Microsoft Certified Trainer and AI Engineer. This video talks about Microsoft 365 Agents SDK. We can call it as the next generation version of Bot Framework if you're already familiar with it. This comes with advanced features than Bot Framework, so let's dig deeper into that. Majorly, we have three features. One is you can use the AI of your choice. It can be Azure OpenAI, or it can be from other vendors like Google, Anthropic, or any other vendor with or without the help of Azure AI Foundry. The second major feature is build one, use everywhere. As in bot framework, we have the multi-channel functionality here, which is the major reason why we go for the bot framework. Now, as this is the new generation bot framework, Microsoft 365 Agents SDK also has that power. We can build once, use same code base to use in different channels like Teams, WhatsApp, email, etc. The next major feature is Microsoft 365 Agents SDK is integratable with Microsoft Agent Framework or Semantic Kernel. And this comes with the multi-agent functionalities. So for getting the multi-agent functionality, we can use Microsoft Agent Framework or Semantic Kernel. If you are not familiar with Microsoft Agent Framework, that is the next generation version of Semantic Kernel, which has the power of AutoGen 2. This figure gives us an idea about how Azure Bot Framework is different from other frameworks. As we discussed, it has the multi-channel functionality where we have Microsoft 365 Chat, Teams, Web Chat, Slack, and many other channels, including email. Users can chat through any of this channel, and by using Azure Bot Service, we can have a single code base which could be connected to multiple agents at the same time or multiple times, including Copilot Studio or any other agent SDKs, including that of Microsoft's. This video is the first video in the series of Microsoft 365 Agents SDK. This video is part of a 5 video series among the. This video is about building a basic chatbot and running it locally, and we have upcoming videos about how this basic chatbot can be deployed to Azure and it can be accessed by Teams or web chat. The other is how we can integrate this Azure AI Foundry models with this chatbot. The the next video discussed about the next video discussed about integrating AI Foundry models with this chatbot, this basic chatbot. The fourth video will be discussing about connecting open source AI models to the chatbot. Fifth will be about Microsoft Agent Framework connection to this basic chatbot. First video, let's dig deeper to the first session. Let's dig deeper to the first topic, building very basic chatbot. I have prepared a documentation which consists of everything that we are going to discuss in this video step by step. This document is prepared from different pages of official documentation. You can get this PDF by commenting documentation below this video. This will guide you to go through this go through the process step by step. So let's start with the step one. You already have Python, I guess. The second is Visual Studio Code. You can also use other code IDs. That's not a problem. But in this video, we will be using Visual Studio Code with Python extension installed. So I already have the Python and Visual Studio Code. If you do not have it, you can go through the steps and install it. The second step is creating the project. In Visual Studio Code, creating project is very simple. Just go to File Explorer, create a folder, and open that folder in Visual Studio Code. So for opening a folder in Visual Studio Code, we need to type cmd in the folder path or right click to open it in terminal, then run the code dot. Then it should be opening the Visual Studio Code. So let me create a folder. So new folder, let me name it demo, and let me get into the folder In the file explorer file path, let me type cmd to open the cmd. Think it's opened. So code dot is the command to open it in. Yeah, the VS Code is opened for the project. So second step is complete. The third step is creating the virtual environment. There are multiple ways of creating virtual environments in Visual Studio Code. I'm using the command line way of doing it, opening a new terminal, clicking on terminal, and creating the environment using this command python minus m venv with my name. So terminal, new terminal, let it get opened. Let me close it. Let me close the Visual Studio. Sorry, command prompt also. Yeah, it's open. So I am typing python minus m venv. My virtual environment name is my venv. So the command is running. It might take a few seconds. So this is the way I can activate the environment. First step is creating the environment and second is activating it. For activating, we need to give the name of the environment slash script slash activate. This is for Windows. There are other commands for other OS also. There are other ways of doing it also using some UI parameters in Visual Studio Code. I'm not going through that. So it's activated. So we have completed our third step of creating and activating virtual environment. Now we are going to the fourth step, which is installing the Python packages. So I'm just typing the code. We only need one package to be installed using pip for this particular video. In the coming videos, we'll be adding more, but in this video, we are only installing one package, which is Microsoft Agents hosting our HTTP. Let's wait for it to be installed. While it is getting installed, let me come to the documentation again. Fifth step, we are creating the server application. Creating server application is nothing but we are creating a file called startserver.py where we will be pasting this code. This code is exclusively for creating our Python project into a Microsoft 365 Agents SDK project. In this project and file, in this file, we don't need to edit anything in near future. So we don't, we are not going into the details of this one. It's created. So let me go and create a file start underscore server.py, paste the code here, save it, and let me go back to the documentation for the next step. The sixth step is creating your agent application. In that, sorry, the first step is create app.py and the app.py code is here. We will go through this in detail. Let me copy it, the code for app.py. I just copied it and let me paste it app.py. Let me paste it here, save it. So let's go through the each line of this code. And here I have a 3 which is coming because of the line break in the documentation. So I just removed it, save it. So the first these lines up to line 9 is the import statements that we are using in this project, and the second set is like creating the agent instance. We have to create an agent first. That's what we are doing here, agent instance, and we are passing two parameters. One is storage and adapter. Here you can see that we are just passing empty memory storage as storage and empty cloud adapter as adapter. Empty memory storage means we are using a RAM or the internal memory for storing the context or any memory requirement for this project or the for the conversation. Context is stored here. What is a context means the place where we store thread related information, message related or activity related informations are stored here in this context, and that context is stored inside the memory storage as per this line. Okay, if we are in need of a production application, we will need to implement some additional storage mechanism where we store these informations in a blob storage or any other type of storage. The next parameter is like adapter. We are just putting empty cloud adapter. In this project, we are not bothered about the authentication and security of this project. That's why we are keeping it cloud adapter empty. When we are publishing this application, uh, or we are putting our project live, we need to put an authentication here by doing an app registration and all. We will go to that step in the next video. In this video, as we are building it very basic, we are keeping it very simple, cloud adapter empty. So we discussed about how the agent instance is created, sorry, what agent instance is created, what the above line is about. So we discussed about the first section, creating agent instance. Second section is route handlers. This app.py only has two sections. One is create agent and second is route handlers. Before getting into route handlers, let me talk about what this project is doing. This project is just a chatbot application where it gives a welcome message. Second, it gives a help message. Third, it gives an echo message. That means whenever a new user is added to the conversation, we will get a welcome message saying hi. And if a user types help command, that is slash help, it will return a help command. And if user types anything else as the message, then it will echo out the same response. That's what we are trying to create. So we are having three types of activities to be. One is conversation initiation, that means the start message or the welcome message. Second, a help message. Third, an echo response for any other type of message. So the first one is talking about the welcome message. So this is the line where we send a welcome message to the user. So let's talk about the first part, welcome. This is just a function which accepts turn context and turn state. That is the context and state. And it just responds with a text activity. Here we are sending an activity which is just text. We can also send any other type of activities available like card activity, and there are many more. In this context, we are sending just an text activity which contains this text, welcome to echo agent sample, type slash help for help, or send a message to see the echo feature in action. So we are just sending a message whenever this function is triggered. When this function is triggered when the conversation update of type member added is happening. There are multiple events happening like conversation update, or there are other events also. We have a list of type of events happening. In that, conversation update is one type of event, and in conversation update there are multiple types, and member added is one of the conversation type. Member added means if we are considering a one-to-one conversation, the conversation is getting started. That is, the bot is started talking with one another member of the chat. So a user is added to the conversation to the bot. So it is something like a welcome message in case of the one-to-one conversation. So that is the context of one-to-one. In the context of group conversation, member added is like a new member is added to this conversation or the group. So whenever a new member is added to the group where the bot is a member of, we get this trigger conversation update member added. and we are sending this welcome message. So this welcome message is served in group whenever a new member is added, and triggered only once when the conversation is starting in case of one-to-one conversations. Second set of router we need to discuss is the help router. This is a function called help where we accept context and state, and we just send a activity, text activity similar to that of the welcome message, which start with a code agent is at your help. What can I do for you? So we have defined the function for the router, and we are calling that function here when we get a message of content slash help. So this, whenever the agent app gets a message, the activity of type message, and that message contains slash help, then we are calling this function. So that is what is happening in this second router. The third router we have is echo router. This is another way of defining functions which is different from that of the help or welcome message being declared. Here we just give the function below this. So here what is happening is like for every activity of type message, this is getting triggered except this help, because we have written the special case of help here. But for any other message which is get by the agent, we have to use this function on message function, which is actually sending an activity of type text where we just echo back the user's text with a prepended text used colon space. The user's message will be in this variable context.activity.text. We have just told like context is a place where we store thread related, message related, channel related informations. So for getting the user message, we need to evaluate context, which is inside, which is evaluate context dot activity dot evaluate context dot activity dot text. So this will be acting as the echo bot or echo router. Now the next set is the starting the server. We are passing agent app here for starting the server, and we are not passing any authentication parameters as this is a basic chatbot. We are not going to or the go to security related or authentication related things, and we are only running it locally, so we don't need it. So we are good. So we can run this application. The next step after creating the agent is run the agent locally. For running, we can use python app.py, which is similar to that of any other Python application running instruction. Let it run, and it should be hosting the application in a port 3978. 3978 is the port where we usually host the application. In case of bot framework also we use the same port. So in Microsoft 365 Agents SDK also we are using same port, which should be used because we when which is also recommended because for the agents playground we need that. So we have created the application locally and run the application locally. Now we need to test it. We have hosted it, right? Now hosted it locally and we need to test it. For testing, there are two ways of testing. One is using Microsoft 365 Agents Playground, another is using Bot Framework Emulator. Also we can test it. Okay, bot framework emulator is a old way of testing it. Microsoft recommend to go with Microsoft 365 Agents Playground, which is much more better version. But the problem with Microsoft 365 Agents SDK is we need node to be installed in our machine. Node and npm should be installed in our machine, then only we can go with this Microsoft 365 Agents Playground. If not, we can go with the bot framework emulator. Also you can download it from the GitHub repository. We can go to that. in a bit. Let's first focus on how we can test it in Microsoft 365 Agents Playground. For testing it in Microsoft 365 Agents Playground, we first require Node and NPM. I already have those, so prerequisite is met. So next step is installing the respective module. For installing that, we need to use npm install -g, the command that is in the documentation, and it should be open in a separate terminal in order to disturb the Python running that is happening. So new terminal is getting opened, and okay, let me paste the command and let it get installed here. Once it is getting installed, we should be getting this output. Okay, now once the test tool is installed, the Microsoft 365 Agents Playground is installed, we need to launch it. For launching, we need to use this command, test app tester, sorry, teams apps tester. And this command is used for testing, and it will be opening a browser with the tool. So now I have entered the command teams app tester. It should open a browser with the playground there, and we can see it is in the 56150. You can see it is getting opened in my default browser, and this is the home page. It should automatically pick up the port, and you can see the logs in the right side, and you can see the welcome message is getting received. So the first test is done, and what if we type hi, it should return hi, you said hi, because we had the echo router here which is working there, and we have already seen the welcome message. So the next message is slash help, and it is returning the help message also. So we have tested it in the Microsoft 365 Agents Playground, and it is working well. And currently we are at the personal chat, which is the default opening window, and we can test the group chat also here. Here you can see the welcome message is already getting added. Whatever, if we type hi, it will not respond, because in case of group chat, if we need the bot to be responded, we need to mention the bot and type message. So if we need, this is the message that I get. I have typed IHI and it is returning back the same. And if we need the help message to be triggered, I can type slash help and it is returning back. So this is how the group chat is tested, and we have told about the member added, right? There is an option for mocking an activity. I am trying to add a user to this chat, so I am just adding a user. We are just mocking in the activity of adding user, and you can see the bot have sent the welcome message again. So this Microsoft 365 Agents Playground allows us to test the group chat features also. So that is it, how we need test the same thing in the playground. We have done it. Now the next test that we have to do is in the bot framework emulator. For testing in bot framework emulator, we need the bot framework emulator to be installed in our machine. So here the prerequisite is installing the emulator, and if you don't have one, you can go to the site and install it. And the next step is open the bot framework emulator, click on open bot and paste the URL. So let me search and open the bot framework emulator. So I'm opening it, The emulator is getting launched and I am clicking on the open bot, and as per the documentation we need to enter the localhost URL. This is the localhost URL and click on connect. Now I should be able to connect to that conversation, and I have now got the welcome message. Now if I need to test the welcome message, I can just type hi and returns back. Let me test slash help, and it's doing the same as we expected. It is responding with the help message also. So by this we are going to end this video. We have created an echo bot, run it locally, and we have tested it using the playground and bot framework emulator. Now in the next video we will be discussing about how we can test the same chatbot in Microsoft Teams and web chat. Stay tuned.